And here we go with The Perfect Storm, Part 9. To begin this video, we're going to look at nationalist movements in regions outside of the West. Now, Mussolini may have blended nationalism with fascism. Hitler blended nationalism with racism. And Stalin blended nationalism with communism. But the Africans promoted nationalism with a desire for independence. Their push towards anti-colonialism arose dramatically after the Great War. However, the Europeans still had the armies and technology, so Africans sought eventual rather than immediate independence. After the Great War, many Turks sought change, and from 1919 to 1923, a revolt led by war hero Mustafa Kemal ousted the Ottoman Sultan and worked to establish a Western-styled, modernized, and industrialized secular state. He took the name Ataturk, which means Father of the Turks, and established an Islamic state, but with European roots. In Persia, Reza Shah Pahlavi, who became the Shah after a coup, attempted to imitate Ataturk's reforms. He renamed the country Iran, after the ancient Aryans who had settled there, and worked to modernize his country through railways, industries, and other Western aspects. However, the country's powerful Muslim clerics resisted to too much change and limited further Westernization. Many other Middle Eastern regions resented secularism and worked to blend nationalism with Islam. In 1932, for example, Britain recognized Iraqi independence, although Iraq is a country divided between Arabs and Kurds, as well as Sunni and Shiite Muslims. And in that same year, Saudi Arabia was officially formed based on the strict Muslim denomination of Wahhabism. In India, an independence movement continued from even before World War I. Now, the Indians had fought on the side of the Allies, losing thousands of men. However, there were still deep divisions between Hindus and Muslims, and between the classes through the caste system. A major turning point in the relationship between India and the British Empire was in 1919 during the Amritsar massacre. The British fired on Sikhs and others who were celebrating a holiday. Now, there were some demonstrators there, but mostly it was very peaceful, including men, women, and children. After several minutes of firing on the unarmed crowd, more than 400 people were killed and over 1,000 wounded. This encouraged leaders such as Mohandas Gandhi of the Indian National Congress to organize boycotts of British goods. Gandhi and many others refused to pay taxes or participate in certain British institutions. And as one might expect, violence broke out from time to time, and Gandhi was frequently arrested, even though he himself promoted nonviolence. He encouraged the Indians to give up their Western ways, and led by example. Gandhi spun his own clothing, which was a way to support the massive Indian textile industry as opposed to buying British goods. He promoted nonviolent non-cooperation. Sometimes it's referred to as passive resistance, but he was advocating nothing that was passive at all. A famous event occurred in 1930 known as the Salt March. Now, salt was used for food preservation. You could purchase salt from the British, but Gandhi led a march of over 50,000 people towards the sea in which you could pick up the salt yourself. It was against the law for Indians to make their own salt, and in one particular instance, many Indians made a march onto one of the British salt works. There were many reporters and photographers on hand as they watched many British troops beating the Indian people who were not fighting back, and this caused international outrage against the British. Gandhi continued to receive mass appeal not only from his own people in India, but from people around the world. And by 1935, the British granted some degree of home rule to India.